the games that you play, but the bucket is leaking, draining day after day. Your delusional dreaming, thinking you hold the sway, but the big players left you off the other way. Times are getting tough down South Africa way. You bet on the wrong horse, now you gotta pay. Nation has foot and mouth troubles. They're talking trash while the trouble doubles. Verbal diarrhea spilling on the floor, trying to pick a fight with a superpower war. Yeah, they think they're lions, but they're losing the roar. And Kings has foot and mouth troubles. Ah, yeah. Hey, Cyril, look around, tell me where is your seat? At the G20 table, you can't handle the heat. You looked for your nameplate, but it wasn't around. Poland took your place while you stared at the ground. Yeah, Poland's in the chair and you're out in the cold. The story is over, the influence sold. Embarrassment rising, the bluff has been called. Yeah. Now the lights are flickering at Luther Lighthouse. Quiet as a whisper, quiet as a mouse. No fiesta tonight, no victory toast. Just the haunting silence of a diplomatic ghost. No mass, cry the comrades, no joy in the hall. You insulted the giant, now brace for the fall. Just fight, never let. Just foot in mouth trouble. Yeah, foot in mouth troubles. Watch the currency barrel.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Welcome back to the program, folks. Chris, live in central Pennsylvania with your daily dose, your daily injection, your daily inoculation against misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, bigotry, racism, and Democrats. Welcome back to the program. Let's check on the sound levels. Welcome back to it sounds pretty good. All right, folks. Yeah, welcome back. First off, let me just do a quick victory dance. I'm going to do the Lamola real quick. Hang on. It's time for a victory dance. You ready? Are you ready for the victory dance? Here we go. That's right. We're going to do the Lamola. Actually, I'm going to do a real victory dance. Yes! USA, double gold medals in Olympic hockey. We win the Olympic gold medal for the first time in 46 years, ladies and gentlemen, since the Miracle on Ice in 1980. February 22nd, 1980, the United States defeated Finland to win the gold medal after defeating the mighty Soviet Union of professional hockey players with a ragtag team of high school and college students and club players coming together. Yes, Jim Craig, Neil Broughton, Mike Eruzione. Mike was present at the gold medal game. Finally, 46 years later, the U.S. brings the gold medal home. This time in Milan. We are stoked. We are chaffed. We are excited. And I am right there with them. It was unbelievable. It was incredible. We won in overtime just like the women. It was something else. February 22nd, 2026, 46-year drought. The United States has now won 3 Olympic golds in 25 Winter Olympic Games. 1960 in Squaw Valley, 1980 in Lake Placid, and 2026 in Milan. In the game in Milan, one of the gentlemen, his grandfather played in the 1960 team as a gold medal winner. His uncle played in 1980 for the gold medal team, and now he's played. So the grandfather, who's still alive at the age of 88, lived to see his grandson in his 30s win the gold medal that he won and that his son won. Wow. Can you write a better script than that? Other than Li Shilu coming back after retiring from the game, it's hard to write a better script. The Americans set an American Winter Olympics record with 12 gold medals, 2 in hockey. Best we'd ever done before was 10 in Lake Placid and 10, I think, in Vancouver. We didn't set a record for total medals with 34 or 33. We had 37 in Salt Lake in 2002 and 34 in 2010. We had 33 in this Olympics, but it was thrilling. This was the Winter Olympics that got me jazzed back into the Winter Olympics. I've always loved the Winter Olympics. It was my first love. Dorothy Hamill, Bill Kalk, 1976 Innsbruck. Since then, I've been a massive Winter Olympics fan. Some have been amazing, like Calgary and Lake Placid. Others have been turgid, like Pyongyang and Beijing. But this one was incredible. And the next one's in France in 2030, and I'm going to try to make a plan to be there. This is my polo for the 2020. You know, it took me until the Olympics were over to realize what the hell this was supposed to be. I kept looking at that. Is that supposed to be the mountains, or is that like, Radar Romanche? What the hell? It's a 2-6. It took me through the Olympic Games to finally realize that that's a artistic 26 in the center of that Olympic symbol. I feel like I missed something. Oh my goodness. What is your issue, Tiki? Poof, what does that mean? What does that mean? All right. So congratulations, U.S. Olympic hockey team and the U.S. Olympic athletes and all Olympic athletes who competed. Norway, 41 medals. My goodness. Shocking. Yeah, my Johnny dance is as good as it's going to get. Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The Winter Olympics. United States defeat Canada in overtime for the first ice hockey for the men gold medal since 1980. A clash of the ages. And here they are, the gold medal winning team after the game. They also pay tribute to slain U.S. hockey star Johnny Gaudreau and his brother, who were murdered by a drunk driver the day before their sister's wedding in Philadelphia. Murdered a couple of years ago. His wife, his widow, and his 2 small children were at the game, and they carried them out onto the ice. 46 years to the day after the Miracle on Ice team played their way into ice hockey lore at Lake Placid. Under Herb Brooks, the United States created a new Olympic memory for fans to dream about, defeating Canada 2-1 in overtime in the men's final at Olympic Winter Games Milano Cortina 2026. It's the 3rd Olympic gold medal for the United States on men's ice hockey and the first since their win in New York. Jack Hughes was a hero just before the game ended, about 6 minutes left. A high stick broke his teeth and knocked out these 2 teeth here and cracked one in half, a horrific injury. And that player was given a 2-minute minor and an additional 2-minute, so spent 4 minutes putting Canada down to 4 players on the ice, 4 skaters, for 4 critical minutes as the game wound down. But then the Americans had a hooking penalty, and so it wound up not being a disaster for Canada. Went to overtime, and Jack Hughes on an absolutely unbelievable play. Zach Werenski, Jack Hughes to Werenski down the ice, turns, spins across ice to Jack Hughes, who slots the shot in and right through the 5-hole and defeats Bennington. Jordan Bennington, who had a hell of a game, but Connor Hellebuyck is the man of the day. Jack Hughes is the hero for the golden goal, but Connor Hellebuyck is the man who made it happen. People have said he can't win the big one playing for the Winnipeg Jets. The American Connor Hellebuyck from Michigan, nonetheless, this man got it done. We would not have a gold medal were it not for the heroic efforts of Connor Hellebuyck last night. Connor Hellebuyck last night. Unbelievable. Yep. This was a superb, incredible Winter Olympics. If you missed it, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry for you. This was the Winter Olympics, the best one we've had in ages. The best one. In fact, for me, this was the most exciting Winter Olympics since 2010 in Vancouver. Yeah. Yep. That's what I say. Anyway. Yep. Jack Hughes was questioned after the game. He said, doesn't matter about the goal, just an unbelievable team win. We're so proud to be American and win for our country, to win for the U.S. Hockey Brotherhood, said the star forward who plays for the New Jersey Devils. I've seen him play in New Jersey. Listen, they probably outplayed us a little bit tonight. Our goalie stood on his head, though, and in overtime we have skilled players on both sides, so anything can happen. Yeah, U.S. goaltender Connor Hellebuyck from the Winnipeg Jets was the backbone of his victory with 41 saves. Unbelievable. He made a couple of unbelievable stops. And some sour Canadian fans try to claim the Americans cheated and the officiating was poor. That's nonsense. Both the Americans and the Canadians could have had more penalties, but they let them play. So it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And the Winter Olympics comes to an end. Zimbabwean Kirsty Coventry, multiple-time Summer Olympics swimming medalist, closed out the ceremony. She's now president of the International Olympic Committee. A total of 116 medal events were held in 8 Olympic sports across 16 disciplines over the course of 17 days of competition. and it was epic. Italy hosted a fantastic games. Kirsty Coventry, president of the IOC, gives a speech on the closing ceremony. The next Winter Games will be held in neighboring France, which received the Olympic flag and the official handover earlier in the ceremony. Following the same spread-out model, the 2030 Winter Games will be staged in the Alps and in Nice on the French Riviera, while speed skating will be held in Italy or the Netherlands. That's fascinating. A total of 116 medal events were held in 8 Olympic sports across 16 disciplines. Italy won its highest Winter Olympics tally ever with 30 medals, 10 gold, 6 silver, and 14 bronze. Their previous record had been 20 back in Lillehammer in 1994. Wow. Your outstanding performance united Italians everywhere and played a fundamental role in the success of the game, says Giovanni Malago, president of the Milan Cortina Foundation, told the Italian athletes sitting behind him wearing headbands emblazoned Italia. 12,000 spectators joined the athletes for the closing ceremony. The opening ceremony, of course, had Mariah Carey and Andrea Bocelli inside a soccer stadium with 60,000 people. The Paralympic ceremony will take place in Verona on March 6th. The games begin and run until March 15th. So the Paralympics are coming up next, and I'll be watching that too. The Milan Paralympics, looking forward to that as well. Crime levels are declining in South Africa, or so says the acting police commissioner. Yeah. The crime levels are still unacceptably high despite decrease in murders and sexual offenses. The majority of violent crimes have shown a downward trend during the third quarter of SAP's financial year, but the police minister and national commissioner both believe South Africa's crime levels are still too high and law enforcement has a long way to go. Unpacking the national crime statistics for the third quarter, on Friday, Kuchela welcomed the widespread downward trend in most categories and said crime levels remain unacceptably high, especially in the Cape Flats and Nelson Mandela Bay's crime-ridden regions. Yep. Fanny Masemola under pressure. This is what they claim. National murder rate dropped by 8.7%, they claim. 14% reduction in trio crimes, carjacking, house robberies, and business robberies. So, do you believe it? I don't believe it for a second. I don't believe it for a second. The hockey game is available on Peacock in America. You can't get it in South Africa, so I don't know where you can get it. Yuri Oosthuizen says BS. What is BS? What is going on here? What is BS? Oh, the crime statistics. Gotcha. 20 Home Affairs officials dismissed as the Special Investigating Unit report exposes 20 years of visa maladministration. Well, the one effective minister in the government, the only effective minister we can find in the government, is Leon Schreiber. And once again, now finding crap going on. Department of Home Affairs dismissed 20 officials since April of last year as part of a disciplinary process linked to corruption and maladministration and covered by the Special Investigating Unit. Whoops, my flag just fell. Hang on. Sorry about that. My rugby ball, I put air in it last night. It's the one up here, and my flag fell off onto the floor. So that's the noise you heard. Had to go fix that. Yep. All right. So, yeah, Leon Schreiber is talking about the crime here. This is, they find so many officials. Over the past 2 financial years, 75 disciplinary cases have been completed, resulting in 16 suspensions without pay and 22 written warnings. Yep. This is the current Special Investigating Unit acting head, Leonard Garoteluedwa Leketo. Earlier on Monday, IOL reported the Special Investigating Unit revealed that 4 officials earning less than 25,000 Rand per month received a combined 16.3 million in direct deposits linked to visa and permit approvals. Yeah. South Africa is corrupt beyond belief. Sent who an email last week? The Home Affairs guy? I wouldn't expect him to respond. As the ANC self-immolates, Helen Zilla and Mashaba sees a race for Joburg future. This story by Farrell Haffiji is just wishful thinking. From Dada to Go-Go to Homeboy, the fight for Joburg has just gotten very interesting. How so? The announcement of February 21st that Action SA will field its unsurprising candidate for mayor of Joburg, Herman Mashaba. The main race for Johannesburg mayor is now between him and the DA candidate, Helen Zilla. Farrell Haffiji, I ask a question. It's a legitimate question. I don't mean to embarrass you or to confront you, but how is the race for the mayor of Joburg affected at all by Herman Mashaba and Helen Zilla entering the race and Dada Marrero? What does it matter? It doesn't matter. Nobody's running for mayor. This is a fiction. Why do South Africans delude themselves in believing there's actually a race for mayor? There's a race for votes in the council. Whoever gets the most votes gets to pick the mayor. If you have a majority. If you don't, you ally with other parties and you pick the mayor. So it doesn't matter that Helen Zilla is going to run. Her party is not going to win sufficient constituencies to grant her the mayoralship. Even if they get more than the ANC, they're going to have to ally with someone. So there's no race for mayor. I don't understand this. This is just fiction. Why do South Africans believe in this fantasy land? You don't vote for the mayor. You don't vote for the president. They're selected through a parliamentary process. Did I get something wrong? Am I wrong? Could somebody tell me, did I get it wrong? Really? I'm aware of the 60-minute story. I don't know about the one on briefly, unless it's a new one. Yeah. Did I miss something, guys? Can somebody tell me? Is that not how it works in South Africa? I mean, this is just ridiculous. Farrell Haffiji, this is just propaganda. The ANC flatlined its way to another major townships 2024. The party was walloped to 34% in Gauteng. And when you drew in the numbers, it scored even lower in Joburg. That was before the chronic water and electricity crisis kneecapped its people, impacting everybody, but traditional ANC voters and citizens most. So now it will be a race between Zilla and Mashaba. No, it won't. Their parties have to get the votes. With the Patriotic Alliance candidate Kenny Kunene expected to declare soon. Well, her team won't release their weekly survey numbers. She is believed to be polling in the high 30s with a wildly popular campaign on social media and no need for mass media campaign. So, historic voting patterns show that people don't easily turn to the Blue Party, especially with its recent rightward drift. It hasn't drifted rightward. What a comical statement, Farrell Haffiji. Mashaba has a constituency to cultivate, as he successfully did in 2021. Action SA won 44 of the seats in the 270-seat council. Mashaba was DA mayor from 2016 and 2019 when he quit the party and had to give up the chains, even though he loved the job. And his mayoralship was mixed results. He gets bad press with the liberal elite of civil society who do not like his anti-foreigner stance or his Rudy Giuliani-style law and order focus. But among his constituents, those positions haven't crested his popularity. Well, he also gets bad press from his tendency to spew racial hatred on Twitter. He's backed off that recently, but he has a track record over the past year of spewing racial hatred. Oh, Ian says I'm mistaken. It depends on who you pay. Sometimes they sell out to pick a mayor like them. Yep, exactly. Yes, Steph, you're correct. Zoran the Moran, the fascist, Islamofascist dictator mayor of New York City, is demanding that people provide two forms of identification and a social security number in order to shovel snow and be paid for it. He's also demanding people come volunteer to shovel the snow in his city that has no money because of his social services. Yep. The 60-minute story is not new. It ran over the weekend. They've posted a dozen clips of the story. Some of them are balanced, but many of them are just BS. You're right. You don't vote for the mayor. So why in the world is Farrell Haffiji writing a propaganda story telling you that there's a race? There's no race. Helen Zilla could poll 90% amongst Joburgers. They go, oh, we want her. And she won't be the mayor. I'm not saying she won't be the mayor. I'm just saying that she won't be the mayor because 90% of people want her. Because they don't vote for her. The people in the city council vote for her. Or don't vote for her. Let them eat cake. The United States Ambassador Brent Bozell has presented his credentials. Yep. So let's see if they accept them. Presumably they have accepted them and will go about business. As I predicted, they will accept them. 449,000 registered voters in California are ineligible for jury duty because it turns out that they're not even citizens. Non-citizens can't vote, yet they're registered to vote in California. 500,000 votes. Wow. Yeah, nothing to see here. No fraud. Yeah, right. Trains nowhere. How a firm scored millions as Prost allegedly blew billions on old trains. Yep. YNF was paid 970 million rand, 40% of the amount Prost spent in the first 3 years of the general overhaul tender, including for allegedly unauthorized repairs and items whose prices were highly inflated. Of course, we know about this. That's why they killed Armand Swart. They murdered him, thinking he was someone else. Stupid people can't tell the difference between white guys. Racist. All contractors named in the report were accused of price gouging, with some inflating prices more than 2,000%. The Prost Rail Agency in South Africa has wasted more than $4 billion refurbishing rusting old trains in a procurement scheme riddled with irregularities and price gouging. Payments to contractors. Look at this. Good Lord. 500 million in 2023, 1.5 billion rand in 2024, 400 million in 2025, for a total of 2.5 billion rand. Pissed down the drain. Corruption, fraud. Thy name is ANC. Wow. Shocker, folks. Unbelievable. Except it is believable. It's South Africa. Well, the first critical step has happened. Ladies and gentlemen, all hail John Steenhuisen. All hail John Steenhuisen, our white agriculture. Have you met my white agriculture minister? I'm just curious. I don't know if you've met him. Have you met my white agriculture minister? Well, good for Nick Shirley. I'm sure he'll find someone else that's done all the research. He can take all the credit. Oh, my goodness. Like he did in Minneapolis. Sorry. This is driving me nuts, this shirt under here. So, have you met my white Minister of Agriculture? He is solving the foot and mouth disease crisis 2 years later. Yeah. Here you go. Minister of Agriculture Johnny Steenhuisen has officially received the first shipment of 1 million high-potency foot and mouth disease vaccines. Steenhuisen received the vaccines on Saturday, February 21st at the OR Tambo Airport. It takes the minister to go to the airport to make sure these things come in, apparently. The vaccine sourced from Biogenesis Bago in Argentina marked a decisive step in protecting the country's livestock industry. Yeah, after everybody's gone bankrupt. Steenhuisen said delivery is the first phase of an extensive rollout with an additional 5 million doses scheduled to arrive in March. The program forms part of the Department of Agriculture's new 10-year eradication strategy, which aims to vaccinate the national herd of 14 million and security described as a foot and mouth disease-free status with vaccination. So basically what you're trying to say is that you'll forever immunize the cattle. Why weren't you always doing that? Why did South Africa not always do that? You have endemic foot and mouth disease in South Africa from wildlife. Why weren't you always doing this? Cloven-hooved animals are always susceptible to this. We had to shoot them. The KZN farmer culls 150 cattle affected by foot and mouth. A fifth-generation dairy farmer is forced to cull 150 cattle after foot and mouth disease tore through his herd, slashing milk production and threatening more than 100 jobs. The farmer described the emotional toll of watching animals suffer, many unable to walk, eat, or drink before having to euthanize and bury them to prevent further spread. Across the sector, farmers warn that movement restrictions, rising biosecurity costs, and delays in vaccine are pushing both commercial and emerging producers toward financial collapse. In the rolling farmlands of Bergville and KZN, the fate of one commercial dairy farm hangs by a thread as foot and mouth disease devastated its operations, resulting in a loss of over 10 million rand in just 4 months. Bradley Grace, a fifth-generation dairy farmer, watched in despair as the disease tore through his herd. The owner of Gase Farming, which has been operating on Devon Barton near Bergville since 1911, maintains additional operations in Winterton, about 25 kilometers away. The outbreak forced him to cull 150 of his 3,300 cattle and caused milk production to plummet, threatening the livelihoods of 103 employees. One of the hardest parts is watching his animals suffer. They could barely walk because the blisters on their hooves. Eating and drinking became possible due to the sores in their mouths. The guys would do their best to feed and give cattle water, but it wasn't enough as they were getting weaker. Some were too weak to stand. If it returns, I have no choice but to close the farm, lay off staff, and sell off assets that have been my family for generations. Having been employed at the farm for over 13 years, Mdu Malinga said the culling phase was surely one of the hardest things to do. He said shooting cattle was the last resort after they'd exhausted all available options to assist. The disease surely is the worst thing I've seen in my life. A lot died on their own, but most of them, we had to shoot them. We were really scared of losing our jobs because they'd already been cut down from overtime. We're scared, but we're hopeful that we'll get over this disease. Meanwhile, John Steenhuisen travels to Vietnam and dances with Ronald Lamola and Siviwe Garuba and Parks Tao doing La Lamola, while South Africans suffer. Traditional and commercial farmers' herds being devastated by foot and mouth disease because his ministry failed to take action nearly 2 years ago. Yellow Tapper, thank you for the 50 memberships. More nights in jail for the Mugabe twerp, right where he belongs. Chatunga Mugabe and Tobias Matonhododze Mugabe remanded behind bars. Bellarmine, Chatunga Mugabe, and Tobias Mugabe Matonhododze will remain in custody after appearing in the Alexander Magistrates Court on charges stemming from last week's Hyde Park shooting. Why are they in South Africa? The pair face charges of attempted murder, defeating the ends of justice, and unlawful possession of a firearm. What about the fake police car? The matter was postponed to March 3rd, with both accused remanded in custody. Charges stem from that incident, shooting a 23-year-old employee at Hyde Park residence. As previously reported by Gauteng Police spokesman Colonel Dimakatso Nevului, confirmed that a cartridge was recovered at the scene. However, despite searches conducted by canine units and forensic teams, the firearm allegedly used in the shooting has not been found. I'll tell you why the firearm hasn't been found. Because there was another vehicle present. They put the gun in that car. Someone drove away and disposed of the firearm. They're never going to find the firearm. You want to bet dollars donuts that's what happened before the cops came. I've already reported Ambassador Bozell having his credentials presented. Thank you, Sarah. Ahead of the court appearance, Mugabe's lawyer, Jason South, told SABC News, I do confirm that my client is in high spirits. We visited him several times this weekend. We are still taking further instructions. At this point, we do not have any further comment. We do not have a choice. We have to do what we need to do. We do not want to compromise the investigation. Well, someone's already compromised by making the firearm disappear. Someone has already compromised the investigation. Trouble mounts for Chatunga as missing gun sparks extra charges. This little twerp, Bellarmine Chatunga Mugabe, faced additional charges when he appeared today in the court. Defeating the ends of justice. The charge arises from the fact that the firearm believed to have been used in the shooting was not been recovered. There you go. Additional charges. Boss Luis, thank you for your membership. Didn't I respond to you last night in an email? I think I responded to your email last night. And I address you as Boss Luis, not by your given name. SASA is flagging a 700 Rand grant scam that's flowing over social media. South African Social Security Agency has warned the public about a fake message circulating on social media claiming that applications are open for a new 700 Rand grant. This comes following circulation of a message shared widely on messaging platforms and X that urges people to register now through an unofficial link. Yeah, do not do it, folks. See, it says Linky Run. That's not real. Linky Run, not real. Fake news alert. Yep, do not go there. Do not do it. You are going to be swindled. Well, here's the story I talked about earlier. 4 Home Affairs officials made 16 million Rand in deposits despite making 25,000 a month. Wow. Between the 4 of them made 25,000 a month and they had 16 million deposited in their accounts. Corruption never ends in South Africa. Well, the MK party, the party where nobody stays in a position forever except Jacob Zuma, once again, another resignation. Colleen Makubele, Colleen Makubele resigns from Parliament and the party. She was axed from her role as party chief whip back in January. Former MK party chief whip Colleen Makubele has resigned from Parliament. She confirmed this to publication that this exit applies to her political party membership as well. In a letter addressed to party leader, former President Jacob Zuma, she said that she was grateful for the confidence shown in her by the former president and the collective leadership. In the short time I served in Parliament, I was honored to rise to the highest level of the official opposition to Parliament. I will forever cherish the opportunity to serve the nation's African citizens and the MK party. She was axed from her role as party chief whip in January after a fractional rift between her and Zuma's daughter, Dudu Zile Zuma Sambudlo, who also resigned from her position because she induced people to go into Russia as mercenaries. Brent Bozell has been recognized. His credentials have been accepted, as I predicted. Bozell credential step ends limbo as tensions simmer between Washington and Pretoria. Yep. Bozell has presented his letters of credence to South Africa's government, formally assuming his duties as Washington's top diplomat. Handover clears a procedural milestone that had been pending since his arrival earlier this month and brings to a close a period of diplomatic limbo. Business Day previously reported that Cyril Ramaphosa's spokesman, Vince Mangwenya, confirmed that no date had been set for the ceremony, meaning Bozell had been physically present, so but remained ambassador designate under diplomatic convention. Well, that's the norm. That's the norm. There will be a ceremony at a later date, along with officials from other countries. Yep. Well, now it starts. Now it starts. Nelson Mandela Bay potholes waiting for Godot in the municipality. Nelson Mandela Bay municipality took nearly 10 months to repair one of 4 potholes on Louise Michel Drive. In a bizarre move, they left the other 3 unattended. But residents can take heart in some cases when the metro drags its feet. Civic organization Hutful PE steps in. Well, they're not the only ones. I've repaired potholes in PE on the main route. Went out and repaired them myself, along with the Democratic Alliance and Ronaldo Jos when he was a counselor. Yep, tale of 4 potholes. You see this pothole? There's a reason why there's a pothole there. There's no blacktop. Who makes roads like this with 3 millimeters or 4 millimeters of coal tar? You have to have 6 inches of coal tar if you want a road to last. This is ridiculous. No wonder these roads fall apart. And look at that property, that upscale property. Look at that, it's broken there. You see that by the driveway, the crack in the stone. Good Lord. There's another pothole. Because this isn't even a road. It's just, they didn't even surface it properly. They just flattened some dirt with a dozer and then laid a few pieces of gravel down and then just poured this much blacktop on top of it. That's why the road sucks. Too many crickets. Well, the Army is very welcome, say people who will regret that statement, but let's also address long-standing challenges. President Ramaphosa's deployment of the Army to Nelson Mandela Bay has sparked debate. Well, the debate is, you're going to regret this decision. When the next Collins Kosa is murdered, beaten to death by the military, you will regret it. The victim pulled a gun and shot himself twice. Yeah, the victim. The problem with that is that the neighbors witnessed this, unless they're made to disappear. They've already provided testimony. The neighbors saw the twerp with the gun chasing the wounded person into the street. So they can say that all they want. It doesn't change the reality. Wow. Well, and this is a story like it's breaking story, not. How firearms stolen from police custody pose a risk to the public. Seriously? Gun-Free South Africa Executive Director Dr. Stanley Maposa has raised the alarm over the implications of firearms stolen from state security. Well, welcome to the party, folks. They're talking about 1 stolen R5, 1 shotgun, 4 pistols, and rounds of ammunition. But that's nothing, my friend. That's nothing. The 2023 report, there were 9,193 lost or stolen firearms. 25 firearms per day the police lose or get stolen from them. What kind of cops are these? Keystone cops? Well, Iran says it's willing to make nuclear concessions with the U.S. to avoid being struck. Don't buy it for a second. Don't buy it for a second. Iran has indicated it's prepared to make concessions on its nuclear program and talks to the U.S. in return for the lifting of sanctions, recognition of its right to enrich uranium. No, you don't have a right to enrich uranium. You don't. It's already been decided by the United Nations long ago. A new poll suggests that One Nation is the most popular party in New South Wales. The Pauline Hanson-led party surged 28 points to hold 30% of the state's voting intention, overtaking Liberal and Labour parties. Wow. One Nation's popularity has surged to new heights in Australia's most popular state, New South Wales, with Roy Morgan polling showing a massive swell of support across all age demographics. Found both the New South Wales Labour government and opposition Liberal National Coalition losing large chunks of support to the conservative-leaning One Nation. The party surged to 28 points to hold 30% of the state's voting intention. Wow. Labour's at 25, Liberals at 19, and Greens at 12.5. But that's still a long way to go, because these other parties will unite against them because they're leftist hate wakers. Pauline Hanson was recently told by a Muslim immigrant or child of immigrants, I don't know what she is, that if Pauline Hanson doesn't like the racial distribution and makeup of the country, she can just leave.
Tell Pauline Hanson.
So here's the Muslim racism and bigotry against white Australians on display.
Tell Pauline Hanson that if she doesn't like how things are here in Australia, then she can really pack her bags and go to the US and continue being best buds with Trump.
That bigot, anti-Christian, anti-white scumbag can shut her cake hole. Trump Tower is confirmed for Australia's Gold Coast. Yeah, it's set to become the tallest building in the country. The developer claims the worth of the Trump brand is greater than the entire state tourism budget of Queensland. It's probably accurate. That is an image supplied an artist impression of what Trump Tower will look like. Is it really going to be that close to the ocean? That's questionable, if you'd ask me. After weeks of speculation, Australia's first Trump Tower has finally been confirmed for the Gold Coast and is set to be the country's tallest building. The proposed tower will stand 340 meters in height and 91 stories, 15 meters taller than the current record-setting Australia 108 building in Melbourne. We are thrilled to announce the expansion of our global portfolio with Trump International Hotel and Tower Gold Coast, marking the Trump brand's first project in Australia, the Trump organization said. Set to rise in the heart of surfers' paradise, this landmark development will introduce a world-class luxury hotel, exclusive residence, and exceptional lifestyle amenities. Wow. It was previously owned under a near decade-long development application by a Chinese-owned developer, but it was never developed. It will cost $1.5 billion and will provide 500 jobs during construction and another 500 once it's completed. Wow. There were 270 apartment homes in the building that sell for at least $5 million apiece. $5 million apiece. So those apartments will pay for the building. $5 million apiece, they'll pay for the entire building because that's $1.2 billion from the apartments alone. Never mind the hotel and all the other stuff that goes along with it. International Criminal Court, the ICC, is opening hearings into former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte. This is the guy that told Biden where to get off. Prosecutors, the ICC, told Judge Money that former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte encouraged death squads to carry out extrajudicial killings and using fear and financial rewards. The court in The Hague is holding pretrial hearings for the ex-leader, who's facing 3 counts of crimes against humanity for deadly anti-drugs crackdowns. According to prosecutors, police and his squads carried out dozens of murders at his behest. The problem here is this even a case for the ICC? Has the Philippines refused to prosecute him and asked for the ICC to take on the case? If not, they have no authority. Germany's Christian Democrats, a leftist party, like they've always been, the CDU is backing a ban on social media for under 14s. The censorship regime is growing in CDU Germany. Germany's governing Christian Democratic Union passed a motion at its party conference to ban social media for under 14s and introduce stricter digital verification checks for teenagers. The company led by dingbat doorknob Friedrich Merz has called for fines against social networks that fail to enforce these age limits. This is not about protecting 14-year-olds. It's about destroying social media companies, putting them in an impossible position. Well, the European Union, which has for decades robbed American consumers and American manufacturers with its punitive tariffs, now wants an answer. We request full clarity on the steps the United States intends to take following the recent Supreme Court ruling on the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. EU companies and exporters must have fair treatment, predictability, and legal certainty. Well, let me give you that. Your tariff will now be 15%. Next question. And the EU is urging the Trump administration to honor the terms of trade deal after Supreme Court ruling. Well, we're not a lawless parliament full of nameless, faceless bureaucrats who sit in Brussels and decide how Europeans are going to suffer under our regime. We're a country of laws, and the Supreme Court has said that Trump cannot use those tariffs. Even though they're wrong, they've said it. So we will adhere to that. So we are not going to agree, confirm with a deal or comply with a deal that we cannot do legally. Following the ruling by Supreme Court, Trump announced a 10% global tariffs under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 74 before he increased it to 15% the next day after they reviewed the court's decision. So the Europeans are upset because they thought they were going to get a 10% tariff. But European companies are ripping off American consumers. I bought rugby kit, and for a $160 purchase was charged $98 in tariffs. The tariff is 10%, not 55%. Not 60%. The tariffs are 10% from the UK. Why was I charged 60% tariff? Trump says he's sending a hospital ship to Greenland. Not the best idea. He's had better ideas. Greenland's not going to ask for it, and their prime minister's already said no thank you. The USNS Comfort, based in Baltimore, Maryland, will be going most likely to Greenland to provide medical services for people who are not asking for it. Not a very good idea. Hungary will not support the EU-Russia effort for sanctions because the oil pipeline shipments were halted. Hungary vowed to block European Union's next batch of anti-Russia sanctions unless Ukraine immediately restarts oil pipeline shipments, Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó said. Brussels wants to pass what will be the 20th package of sanctions against Moscow, but the 27-nation bloc requires unanimity to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you that after 4 years and 19 rounds of sanctions against Russia by the European Union, that their sanctions do not work, and they're not well thought out. So what's another round of sanctions going to accomplish other than make European technocrats and bureaucrats feel good about themselves that they stood up to Russia with no effect? Well, the violence in Mexico is out of control. It's in civil war at this moment, folks. It's insane. Violence flares in Mexico after killing of the cartel boss. President Claudia Sheinbaum was addressing the unrest in sight after the death of El Mencho, the longtime head of a powerful cartel. Mayhem, stranded travelers, and forced airlines to cancel flights, along with mass shootings and crazy stuff happening in major tourist destinations like Puerto Vallarta on the west coast and Cozumel on the east coast of Mexico. Mexico's ineffectual, moronic president, Claudia Sheinbaum, was speaking at a news conference Monday morning, the day after the killing of Mexico's wanted cartel boss. The unrest stranded travelers in the country forced many international airlines to cancel flights. The Mexican government said on Sunday that it killed Nemesio Josue Guerra Cervantes, known as El Mencho. They captured him in Tlapa, a town in the western coast state of Jalisco. He was injured in the operation and died while being transported to Mexico City for medical treatment. The death was a major victory for Mexican authorities who launched a new offensive, but that's not what happened. Several major airlines, including United, Delta, American, and Alaska, have canceled flights and issued travel advisories for Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara, waiving change fees for passengers whose itineraries were affected. Sheinbaum says she hopes that canceled flights to Mexico, particularly some of the tourist destinations, will be fully restored later than Tuesday. I'm sorry, that ain't going to happen, sweetheart. They're murdering people in the streets. They're shooting randomly. They're attacking people. They're burning buildings. They're burning cars. They attacked a Costco. Are you serious? We're not coming back to Mexico. Screw Mexico. And while you're at it, take your 40 million scumbags back to Mexico with you. Wow. Omar Garcia Harfuch, Mexico's top security officials, said the authorities have positively identified El Mencho's body. At least 62 people were killed in the operation against Oswego, and the rest that followed, according to Mexican authorities. 34 suspected cartel members, 25 members of the Mexican National Guard, one state prosecutor, one security guard, one civilian. A pregnant woman who died when she was caught in a shootout. General Trejo began crying when talking about the authorities who lost their lives, a rare moment for a Mexican general in uniform to show such emotion on national television. They accomplished their mission. What did we show? The strength of the Mexican state. Omar Garcia Harfuch, Mexico's top security official, said that 25 members of the Mexican National Guard were killed across Mexico on Sunday, as well as a member of the National Attorney General's office. General Trejo, so there's sirens going off here, folks, outside. Sounds like the fire department. General Trejo said that when El Mencho and his personal security team were surrounded, they tried to flee. Special forces cornered him near some undergrowth. General said that his security team fired back at authorities and used a rocket launcher to hit a military helicopter, resulting in an emergency landing. He was wounded. Well, Mexico is in full civil war right now as these people strike back. The violence is flaring after El Mencho is killed by the military. His death triggered violence across several states, with international social media footage showing scenes of people running for safety at Guadalajara International Airport. Pacific Airport Group later issued a statement on social media saying Guadalajara was operating normally, but no incidents occurred inside the airport. Bullshit. We saw it. Air Canada said it canceled flights to and from Puerto Vallarta. Yep. And this is a burning truck destroyed by these scumbags. In a post on X, Mexico's ineffectual idiot president Claudia Sheinbaum acknowledged that the government operation against drug cartel had triggered various blockades and other reactions. The United States provided intelligence to the Mexicans to hunt down El Mencho. This confirmed by Carolyn Leavitt of the White House. Wow. And this is an organization better equipped than the military. Gunmen wreak havoc across the Mexican coastal resorts. That is Puerto Vallarta. Look at the cruise ship there. This is what they did. It was a typical quiet Sunday morning in Puerto Vallarta until the gunfire rang out. Jim Valter, a 76-year-old Iowan who is one of 1,000 American retirees living in Puerto Vallarta, was lounging with a coffee at the Bean and Brick Cafe when a commotion erupted at 9 a.m. in the street outside. I heard a couple gunshots, and then we started hearing sirens. The cartel is the most powerful in the country. Look at this. They just put cars and burned cars in the streets. Torching buses in Puerto Vallarta. It's insane. That's the airport. Mexico is gone, man. It's been gone for a long time. Now we see the evidence of it up close and personal, as a cartel is more powerful than the military. State Department tells Americans Mexico to shelter in place amid flight cancellation. This is crazy. Who is Mamadon and what's the question? I don't see that person in here. Oh, there it is. It says, hello, Colonel. Hi. Yep, I hear emergency vehicles outside. U.S. is providing intelligence support to Mexican military for its operation that resulted in the death of El Mencho. United States provided intelligence support to the Mexican government in order to assist with an operation in which El Mencho, an infamous drug lord and leader within Jalisco New Generation Cartel, was eliminated. Yep, Trump was right about Mexico, indeed. And a blizzard, folks, hitting the Northeast and also hitting here, but it's worse in the Northeast. 40 million people remained under blizzard warning on Monday after the storm dumped nearly 2 feet of snow in some places and stranded transit in major metropolitan areas. The powerful winter storm pummeling the vast swath of the eastern seaboard has intensified Monday, dumping snow at a furious rate. By 6:15 a.m., official blizzard conditions, wind gusts of more than 35 miles per hour, 50 knots, or 50 kilometers, for at least 3 hours with visibility under a quarter of a mile. Hundreds of thousands without power. I lost power for an hour last night before it was restored. Yep. Crazy stuff, folks. And here's the map. Snowfall as of this morning. You can see that Pennsylvania got hit, but really, eastern shore of Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, southeastern corner of New York, Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, into Massachusetts got pummeled with snow. You can see there's quite a bit of snow has fallen in those places. So the darker or the higher inches. So here in central Pennsylvania, you can see that it says 1 to 2, but 3 to 4, but that's not true. We got hit with more like 6 to 8 inches. It says I'm located somewhere around here, and it says 4 to 6. No, it was more like 8 inches. So still, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, no, Richmond didn't get it. See, there's Richmond. You got almost nothing, less than an inch. Richmond, less than 1 inch. Almost nothing. Nothing. Trump administration has stopped collecting the tariffs as of midnight. U.S. Customs and Border Protection alerted importers of the change in a post in its cargo system's messaging system. Duties imposed pursuant to that are under the following presidential, excluding all modification amendments, will no longer be in effect and no longer be collected for goods entering for consumption at 12 a.m. on the 24th of February. So less than 12 hours from now. A man was killed by Secret Service trying to climb a wall over the weekend at Mar-a-Lago with a shotgun and a gasoline canister. President and First Lady were in Washington this weekend. The man in his early 20s was seen at the North Gate early Sunday morning about 1:30, armed with a shotgun and possession of gasoline canister. The man came just inside the gate, and the sheriff's deputy and 2 Secret Service agents confronted him. They asked him to drop the items. He put the gas can down and pointed the shotgun at the officers. He died at the scene. Dumbass. Mar-a-Lago. Wackadoodles. Veterans are suing Trump's Independence Arch proposal near Lincoln Memorial. So let me get this right. American military veterans are trying to stop a memorial to recognize the 250th anniversary of the greatest democracy, greatest republic in the history of mankind. And these are supposed to be veterans. I call bullshit. A group of Vietnam veterans and an architectural historian filed a federal lawsuit Thursday to block the president's 250-foot Independence Arch in Washington. The proposed site for the monument would be at Memorial Circle between the Lincoln Memorial and Arlington National Cemetery. The arch is intended to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States. According to multiple news reports, plaintiffs said the structure would obstruct historically significant sight lines meant to symbolize post-Civil War unity and could raise aviation safety hazards due to its proximity to Reagan National Airport. Bullshit. Bullshit. The Lincoln Memorial is on the other side of the bridge and is higher than 250 feet, and it doesn't present an aviation flight hazard. What a bunch of retards. Plaintiffs included retired diplomats and veterans Michael Lemon, Sean Burns, John Gunderson, and Calder Lowe, who have adamantly spoken against the construction, referring to it as Arc de Trump. And there you see their hatred. They hate America, but they hate Trump more, so they'll undermine us. Since 1966, I've proudly served 14 presidents. I've often visited the Arlington National Cemetery with an inspiring view of the Lincoln and Washington monuments, which honors those who paid the ultimate price for their country, including some of my comrades from the Vietnam War. This sacred site and its historic view should not be desecrated by a planned arch, Mr. Gunderson, a veteran and former charge d'affaires, said in a statement from the nonprofit Public Citizens Litigation Group representing the individual officials. But see, this is bullshit, because I'll show you that picture. From there, that is not where Arlington Cemetery is at. You drive down this road, you get to Arlington Cemetery. You don't see this view when you get to Arlington Cemetery until you go up the hill, and then you see it. The arch will not block this view. These are lying, scumbag, anti-Trump, demented lunatics. And the fact that he served in Vietnam doesn't mean jack shit. He clearly hates this country, and he should go screw himself. It's 2 ways to Tuesday. I'm sick of these people. The hockey goalie who saved Team USA, Connor Hellebuck. And this is the shot that did it. Taze tried to get this shot in, but Hellebuck got his stick down from behind in an awkward angle like that. Man, if I had to do it with my hip, I would have been screaming in agony. But look at that. He got the stick down and diverted that. It was essentially nearly an open net. Connor Hellebuck had a reputation for melting down when it mattered most, but against Canada in the Olympic final, he turned in 41 saves, a performance for the ages. Indeed, he did. Yep. Early in the third period of the game, Devin Taze was standing directly in front of the crease, mere feet away from scoring the goal that would dash the Americans' dreams of winning their first gold in 46 years, and the net was wide open. But there was one thing that Taze, his teammates, and 40 million Canadians forgot to account for. The shaft of U.S. goalie Connor Hellebuck's stick. With the puck inches away from sneaking past him, a desperate, flailing Hellebuck reached back and somehow managed to deflect it away at the last moment. It might not have been a miracle, but it was close enough. When I'm rolling back and the puck's not in the net, Hellebuck said, it's just an overwhelming feeling of I've got this. The Americans didn't necessarily have the best team on the ice in their 2-1 victory. They were badly outshot, struggled to control the puck, and often looked overmatched against Canada's collection of NHL superstars. None of that mattered. The U.S. had Connor Hellebuck. On the day his country needed most, Hellebuck delivered a performance for the ages. He endured a relentless Canadian attack that bombarded him all game long. He withstood 2 breakaways in critical moments and helped kill a 5-on-3 power play. He finished with 41 saves. He took center stage. There's Connor Hellebuck. Wow. The U.S. had always suspected it was going to win its first Olympic gold since 1980. Then the 32-year-old Hellebuck would probably be one of the heroes if they were going to do it. He was named the NHL's best goalie in 3 of the past 6 seasons with the Jets. Last year became just the 4th goalie in the past 6 decades to win the Hart Trophy for MVP of his team. Of the league. The only knock on him was whether he'd come through when the stakes were highest after a career filled with notorious playoff struggles. Over the past 3 seasons, he saved 92% of shots he faced, but in the postseason that dropped to 87%, which resulted in several benchings. Things were occasionally so grim that opposing fan bases took to chanting, "We want Connor," whenever he was yanked. Wow. He didn't wilt. There he is, making another save with a Canadian in his space. And this is one that Connor McDavid will regret. And this is great checking here by the American Faber. Faber was checking him, and he kept Connor McDavid from ever getting his hands on the puck. And look at Hellebuck. He's in position, and he stopped that puck. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible, folks. This was one for the ages. Whether you're a hockey fan or not, it was one for the ages. And that's the news for today. Thank you, Yell Tapper, for another 50 memberships. Appreciate that. We're in Utah years ago when the Olympics were held in Utah. That was 2002, Jules. There's some strange people here in Richmond, too. They sit on street corners with signs, "No kings, stop Trump tyranny." I think their batteries ran out of power. Yeah, they're very brain dead. No kings. You have kings. Nancy Pelosi, Chucky Schumer, been in Congress for 40-some years. 70 years plus between the two of those scumbags. There's your kings. Folks, like and subscribe. Share with friends. Be kind to one another. Make peace with mother-in-law. Love your neighbor. Oh, thank you for that, Yell Tapper. Don't brag about your electricity that went off. Our electricity goes off often, and we don't brag about it. Temperature currently is around 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Okay, well, Eileen Gu has some bad news, and I don't like her, so I'm going to see if I can say something nice about her. Our grandmother passed just moments after she clinched the gold medal. I'm sorry for her loss. Skating for China, so I really don't care for her, but sad to hear that her grandmother passed away. Skiing for the Chinese, the communists who stole another medal from us. Eileen Gu. But it's unfortunate her grand passed away. From Phuket. You doing Phuket, man? That's in Thailand. You're welcome with the updates. How's Thailand? Place I've never been. Yeah, it is madness, Sven. Hopefully they get out safely. Saw the videos. It was really bad. Yeah, I saw the videos too. I played some of them yesterday. It was crazy. Trump has already made DEI illegal in the federal government. He can't make it illegal around the country. That has to be a Supreme Court challenge. You were right about Stina. I was right about Kenzie, and we were right about Rob. Well, I was right about those first two as well. What about the Soccer World Cup if Mexico is up? Yeah, there you go. You know, people talking about not coming to America's World Cup. We may have to add a couple venues. I've sent you an email. Could you please read it and get a chance? Thank you so much. Well, let me see if I can see which email among the 5,359 emails I've received this month that I haven't read. So Tyler, you just sent it to me. Okay. Tyler, no, I don't look at I don't look at South Africans that way. If you've been watching this program for any length of time, you'll know that that's not the case. It's a small number of people. But I'm not going to allow someone to go into a closed Facebook community and spread lies about a generous donor. Food Socks, when I asked if they could help with food, because it was one way I could find a way to get food to people who were in limbo because their flights were canceled, before I even finished my sentence, Carl von Blair said yes. Didn't ask for a penny. Didn't try to sell it. He hasn't crowed from rooftops that he's been donating money, that his company gave 15,000 Rand to feed people because I asked them to. Then when we got a donation from a generous donor who gave 20,000 Rand. And yesterday I've got confirmation from someone to send me, someone just gave another 1,000 Rand. So thank you for that. Let me find this. So if you guys want to help, donate money to Food Socks, you can do so. And this is how you do it. And Eden Community Hope Outreach is the nonprofit. It doesn't go to Food Socks directly, it goes to the NPO. And you need to say that it's on behalf of the Wyatt Army or, Colonel Wyatt or something like that, so they know that that money is earmarked to feed South Africans who've been screwed by my government, by the Democrats and by the Trump administration, having their tickets canceled after selling their homes or giving up their apartments, getting rid of their vehicles, and then closing out all their things, waiting to go to the airport, and then the tickets are pulled out from under them. And so I'm not going to allow that to happen, Tyler. That is unacceptable. The lies that were spread by this person on social media deserved a response, and therefore I responded. And then what pissed me off even more is that Carl van Blerk was angry about his company being attacked and rightly posted something on that site, and it was deleted. So I didn't mention the group, assuming that maybe it was a misunderstanding. But then the person, someone deleted his comment and removed him from the group. That's unacceptable. He's helping people in need. And people shouldn't be allowed anonymously to attack someone like that. I'm not going to tolerate it. You may ask a refugee question, James, but let me read this to you. This is an applicant that asked this to be posted on behalf. Verbatim. I feel so deeply heartbroken and let down right now. We have been granted refugee status through the program, and in our hope for a fresh start, we sold our cars, left our jobs, bid farewell to our loved ones, and held tickets for a journey to the United States next week. But then out of nowhere, those tickets were canceled yesterday. No reason given, no rescheduled date, just silence. Actually, that's not what it was. It wasn't just silence, and there was no reason given, that's correct, but it wasn't just silence. That's dishonest. That is an act of omission that's frankly dishonest. Let me see if I can find the email. I have it here. Here it is, flight canceled. There you go. All right, so this is what was said by the government. They were all informed. We are contacting you to inform you that all refugee travel scheduled from 23 February to 9 March will unfortunately be canceled due to operational factors. There's your reason why. This affects your travel to the United States, originally scheduled for the 24th of February. That was this person. We understand this delay in travel may be difficult for you refugees whose travel is canceled will be rebooked for travel in the near future. RIC Africa will be in touch as soon as possible to share new travel dates. Please know the delay in travel does not affect the benefits that are received by refugees in the United States or your refugee status. So there was a reason given, operational. It's none of your damn business what is beyond that. If you don't like it, then don't go in the program. Do something else. Now we're stuck in this uncertain space with no place to turn. No place to turn? Well, that's your problem. That's your personal problem because we offered a place to turn while our family and friends still believe we're on our way. Well, why haven't you contacted your family and friends? You've obviously got a phone because you're posting this sludge online. And this is their response. This is what torched me. The support they suggested, meal kits from FoodSock. It's the kind of thing that feels so inadequate, like adding water to soy-based food that would not even give to a pet. Wow. Not only are you an ungrateful shit, but you insult the very people who offered something for free. We didn't contact you. We didn't reach out to you. We said this is a possibility. And instead of being a good human being, you're a shithead. We are asked to make do with this while we wait endlessly in limbo. Endlessly. Are you stupid? Are you dumb? 23 February to 9 March is 15 days. That's not endlessly. This whole experience strips away our sense of worth and respect. Well, then you don't have much of a sense of worth and respect if your worth and respect hinges on handouts that you refuse because you're too privileged and special not to accept them when no one forced them on you. We placed our faith in a system, uprooted everything we knew, and now we face this reality. Yeah, the reality is you're a crybaby. That's the reality. It pains me that those promoting, this is what really tortured me. It pains me that those promoting these kits as help seem to overlook how it wounds people who have already endured so much loss. What wounds you? Being offered free food? Or because it wasn't caviar? Is that your problem? Wound you? How does someone offering to help you wound you? What an arrogant asshat. We are innocent families reduced to feeling like we must beg, all while multi-level marketing pyramid scheme profits off our desperation. Screw you. There's no multi-level profit here. No one is taking any money from refugees. You are a sad, pathetic liar. These companies act like scavengers. What companies? A nonprofit is giving food away. No one's asking for money. Preying on the poor and vulnerable, build wealth. Go fuck yourself. You know, this bullshit. I'm sick of these idiots. I can't tolerate this garbage anymore. They will be called out. Exactly. What? We sold our home. We sold our car. Then you got a shitload of money. Oh, you didn't miss anything, Lewis. Buy food socks, meals for myself. Had delicious tomato bread tonight. Okay, thank you, bitter in Sema. Yeah, send him to Rochester. Yeah, if you have respect, if you weren't an asswipe, you wouldn't say anything like that. Exactly. First off, they don't know what they're talking about. Second, what a bunch of ingrates. Third, I don't think it's real. Although the administrator for the group told me it's a real person. There's really a person that this arrogant, this privileged, this condescending to people who offer help to them for free of charge? No one came and stood in their door and said, you must take this, give me money. No. I said, if you're in need, send an email and we will get you food assistance. No one asked for money. You don't like food socks? Then don't eat, starve. Burn through your cash reserves, which you claim you don't have. Oh, I have to wait endlessly. I have no money. Really? So what did you sell your car for? 10 grand? What did you sell your house for? 1,000 rand? Now you have no money? Such bullshitting people. Crying, whining babies. You don't need to be here. Stay in South Africa. We don't need people like that. We don't need people like that. We got plenty of Democrats in this country. We don't need you. What do you mean without a South Embassy USA? My reasoning is that it's no ambassador. James, your reasoning makes no sense whatsoever. Ambassadors don't issue passports. What are you talking about? Consular services issue passports. There's a South African embassy and a consular service in D.C. and a consular service in Los Angeles. There might be one in Chicago. I'm not 100% sure, but I know there's one in Los Angeles and an embassy in D.C. you go to the South African representation and you get a passport. If you don't have an embassy here, which isn't the case, then you go through the country that represents your interest. In Togo, there was no in Tunisia, there was no Togo embassy. But Togo had an agreement with the French that the French could issue a 72-hour visa for travelers to Togo. The only proviso is that when you get to Togo, you have to go get the visa in Togo if you stay more than 72 hours. So when I was stationed in Tunisia, my passport was taken to the French embassy that issued me a visa to go to Togo. I went to Togo, spent less than 72 hours there, and got out. Simple. Yeah, okay, so he's still recovering, Johan van Eck. I'm here to look after an elder man as a carer. He's got meetings here for SkyTrains. I'm back on Monday. I'm not sure what you're getting at there, the Afrikaner-American online. People put up comments like that and moans about the food stocks, never went to bed hungry. Also, it was done anonymously. This was posted by an admin on behalf of someone else. What a crock. What a crock. The Mom Dom is great news. Well, congratulations, whatever that is. Where's your donor zombie running? How about Bugger Up Bunny just for these clowns? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, I posted, yeah. So that's, if you want to donate to help out Food Socks, that's where it's at. That's the information. Somebody did yesterday, gave 1,000 Rand. Thank you for that. So that means that the charity itself spent over 15,000 Rand. Then we got a donor of 20,000 Rand and another one. So let's see. I'm getting whining messages from someone that was whining. Okay, what was I looking for here? Shoot, I lost track of it. Oh, that's right. Let me look what Carl sent me. Okay, he sent me some information. Let me see. I'm looking for yeah, this is what Carl wrote, but it wouldn't let him post it. Wow, you clearly know nothing about my product, i.e. Food Socks. You're rude, ungrateful, and don't deserve any support. Our product is extremely high quality and is offered for free to help people battling to make ends meet while waiting for flights. We have doctors, lawyers, teachers, etc., and even other significant people who also enjoy the product, but yet you have the cheek to make such a comment. All sponsored by me and other donors. You're appalling, to say the least. That's what Carl wrote. Now, okay, here's the total. So, all right. So, we have Food Sock sponsor has spent 14. Well, I'm sorry. We've put 35,000 into the kitty, and now it's going to be 36,000. So, Food Socks has sponsored 14,050 Rand themselves before I said, hey, I mean, how much money is this taking? And then he said, well, it's starting to become a cost. And I said, well, you can't bear the cost entirely. So the Wyatt Army has donated 21,700 Rand to this NGO. So there are 6,800 Rand waiting now. So we're going to have to put more money in there. So I'm going to have to figure something out for this. But we have people in October, November, December, January, and February who've gotten help. Okay, one of them actually didn't get any. They were on here, so we'll take that one off. But the average amount of assistance been provided to people has been about 1,500 Rand in food support. All right, 1,500 Rand in food support to these people. Yep. One person has had to give food support twice at least. 2 people at least twice. 3 people at least twice. And one who also got it, but I know is currently in the States, so they no longer need it. Yeah, and these people are grateful. Yet someone's going to act like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 donations of food. Some of them are repeat for people in South Africa. That's not a major effort, but at least somebody's trying. I tried, and Carl jumped in to help out. And those who donated the money have helped a lot. So, yep. No. Anyway, so I'm not going to tolerate people acting like a fool and damaging the brand of a company that's donating. Found a girlfriend for Bugger Off Bunny. Okay. Taking into account luck and who you know, me, it's impossible to get a fair normal estimate. For what? Please add me to receive all any WhatsApp group or anything I need to know. Madeline, and no, I don't add people to the group. I don't have the kind of time to sit around and add 3,000 people to groups. You need to join the group with the link. So I'll do that very quickly. It only takes a moment. Yes, there. Click Refugee 3. I got 2 people looking to join. 1, 2 are in. Okay, now let me get the link for you guys. Be a link. Here's the link. Copy link if you want to join. What puzzles me are the number of people that join and then quit. You know, why did they join in the first place? Did they want to sit in here and commiserate with people and moan about how their situation is, or did they want to get information about the refugee program? Now, some people might quit because Hendo puts all my videos in their groups. I usually restrict to the refugee-related stuff, but not exclusively. So there it is. So if you want to join the group, there it goes. You can join that group, okay? It's up there. Okay. So there you go, Madeline. Erica says, do not sell or quit your job before you have an email with your ticket to fly out. Colonel Chris said that from the start, and be grateful for an awesome opportunity. Yep. Sally put the food socks thing up there too. Chris and food socks and all those that are helping anyone. I take my hat off to all your help, unsung hero. We've also got several people who are offering a combination. I have not been able to delve into that because I just haven't had time. I've got to go clean some snow off my car, go into the Veterans Organization, run a few errands. I'll come back and I'm going to spend time today doing the emails because now I've started booking my trip to Las Vegas. So I'll be in Las Vegas from the 27th of March till the 31st, and the flight was way too expensive, way too expensive. These flights are getting so ridiculous in America. It's crazy. Thank you very much for everything you do, refugees. Thank you for patience, endless hours spent in assisting those in need. We appreciate you. Truth Seeker says, I'm going to do it when I'm on the plane. There you go. Oh, yeah, it snowed. It snowed. People got worse snow. We had the refugee interview on earlier, and those guys got a lot of snow. We got like 6 inches here, half a foot. So I got about that much snow. Yeah, about 6 to 8 inches. Yeah, so. And the roads are already being cleared, so it's happening pretty fast. And I'm at this point, the storm has moved mostly away from me, so it shouldn't be any more. Where do we put money? What money is that? Oh, for the food socks? Well, it's just been posted. It's just been posted. The link is there. Just scroll back up. It's or one of the mods come back in. Community outreach, Eden Community Hope Outreach. There's the NPO, Standard Bank, George, and account number. Okay, and the routing number. That's where you can send it. Make sure you put Wyatt Army on there so the money goes to feed these folks so they know it. They've been very good about it. Look, I have an accounting where the money's gone. And when I asked about it, how's it going, I didn't even ask for the stats on who got the food and how much food they got and what the shipping was. It was sent to me without me even prompting. So this guy's above board and really tries hard to help people. Carl is an excellent guy. I interviewed him back in September when I was in the... when I was back in England doing the Women's Rugby World Cup, and I talked to Carl at the interview. Yep, so here we go. Let me save this. White Army donations, food socks. Okay. Okay, so I've got a record of that now. So we've spent 28,000 Rand feeding people. 28,000. Who else has done that? Is it possible to make a breakdown video on all about food socks deliveries, donations? I believe everyone will afford it. It's such an amazing story. Renee Tully, I have to talk to Carl about that, but we'll have to anonymize the names. I'm not going to release who got food. That's not going to happen. So that's not fair to the people because they didn't sign up for that. But we can tell you. In fact, I'll read it to you now. But I can't show you because I have to anonymize it, and I just downloaded the image. So I can tell you October 1,534 Rand 95 cents plus 100. All the shipping charges 155 Rand. So I'll just give you the total. 1,690 Rand. Then same month 1,690. Then another 1,739 Rand. Now, the amount going to people is tailored on the family size and how many people, but they're all pretty standard here because they come in certain boxes. 1,407, 1,690, 1,400, 1,400, 3,353. I know who that is. It's a big family. 1,443, 1,409, 1,740, 1,523, 1,617, 1,990, 1,386, 1,386, 1,386. 28,249 Rand. Does that help? Charles Edward Cox says, respect you. Even after people with bad manners, you still try your best. Thank you from my heart. You're very welcome. No, I get mistreated and lied about by all kinds of scumbags and shitheads out there, but that doesn't mean that people aren't in need. And Tyler wrote to me earlier and said, please don't think that all South Africans are like this. I don't. Obviously, look at me. I'm still doing this. I mean, after the way that I was abused by some scumbag piece of human feces immigrant in Rochester, New York, screaming at me like a lunatic, telling me to get off a public street. I'm an American citizen by birth. My family's been here since 1621, and he has the audacity to tell me to F off. I'm still doing this. Can't see your messages on TV, Rudolph. I don't know. I'm not watching on TV. Where are you, April? There's a Poikin and a Brian, Richmond. Mad Max, I have to figure out when I'm coming to Richmond, okay? I've still got to look at my schedule. My Vegas trip had to be adjusted. So I wound up with, actually, even though I paid a fair amount for the trip, I wound up with a decent, because going to Vegas is a headache, because from here, there's no connecting flights anywhere. I got to go to Atlanta, or I got to go to Philadelphia, or I got to go to Chicago or Charlotte, or, to connect with these airlines to get their main hubs. So in order to get there, I've got kind of a roundabout way. Let me take a look and see what I wound up with last night, because let me see what my booking is. Okay, tickets just got sent to me. Which tickets are those? Oh, that's that one. Okay, good. Cool. Where's it at here? Here it is. Okay. Confirmation of my flight. Okay, so some of these had like long layovers. Now it's a red eye coming back, which works out pretty well. So it's overnight. So I leave at 12:33 in the afternoon. That's not bad. That means I leave the house about 10:30, 11 o'clock. I go to Chicago on the way. I got exit rows, and then from Chicago to Las Vegas, and I get to Las Vegas late afternoon. So that's pretty good. Then when I come out, I leave at 11:30 at night, and I get home. I get to Philadelphia, not Chicago, Philadelphia at 7:15 in the morning, and leave there an hour later, and get to Harrisburg at 9:21. But it's not. It's a 30-minute flight from Philadelphia to Harrisburg. They just plot that. So I'll probably in Harrisburg if the flight's on time by around 9 o'clock or 9:30 in the morning, and I can do my stream at 11. Yep, very pricey, very pricey. So I had to pay no charge for my first bag, but if I want a second bag, it's $50 one way and $45 the next way. Doesn't make any sense. Yep, anyway. And it's American Airlines, which means slow. I could have gone to Delta, but it was then $1,800 for the same trip. I'm not paying for that. Anyway, oh my goodness. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, so such is life. All right. Now, I have not booked any transportation. Every time I went to Vegas before, I didn't rent a car, but then I didn't have to go anywhere. I just took the shuttle, paid the $40 or whatever it is, a ridiculous price to get 2 miles to the Luxor, and I stayed at the Luxor, and then I took the bus because I bought a bus ticket to take me to the rugby and came back, and then I walked everywhere in Vegas, but I can't walk as much as I used to. I used to walk for miles. I can't do that anymore. I can only walk a short distance. So the rental car is important. Plus, I've got to go visit refugees who are all over the place. So I'm going to have a car because the buses aren't going to work. So I've got to book the car. I've got to book lodging. I was trying to book the Hilton, but all the Hiltons are ridiculous. They want more than $200 a night, even for the ones that are way out. I looked at Nellis Air Force Base because I can stay there inexpensively, but either they don't allow for Space A or they're fully booked. I couldn't get a room, even though I'm a colonel. I'll probably stay at somewhere like Luxor or somewhere like that because those places are less than $100 a night. So, yep. You're refusing $20 SA VAT on $99 invoice. Yeah, it's because they're just criminals. They just throw amounts on there. If you only want the cost that USCIS spent per person, that will be classified as there. I'm sure it didn't. What does West House want to know? All support and caring, humble and grateful. South Africans need food. Apologies, ungrateful. It's okay, Amanda. Thank you. What is West House asking? You want to understand what the U.S. is spending on refugees? Well, let me just spell it out for you. In 2024, the U.S. government spent $8.9 billion on refugees. Let's take a look at the refugee emissions in fiscal 2024. Okay, let's see that. Okay, 100,060 refugees. Okay, so let's just do the math on that. So, 8.9 billion. 89. That's million. 89, 890. 8.9 billion divided by 100. Where's that? 060. The United States in 2024 fiscal year spent $89,000 per refugee. $89,000 per refugee. No, I haven't checked on her. $89,000 is what we spend per refugee on average. That's one fiscal year. Yep. So if you're curious how much this stuff costs, there you go. Oh, Truth Seeker, they're not letting me down. Yeah. That's correct. 1.4 million per refugee. Yep. It's a matter of public record. You don't have to believe me. 8.9 billion. Now that's the total cost, okay? The direct assistance, that money that's given to refugees and so on, and their rent and all that, that comes out to 2.9 billion, 2.6 to 2.9 billion. But the total expense on refugees, according to the U.S. government, is 8.9 billion in fiscal 2024. I researched that number, I found it, so I've kept it in my head. A couple of days back, I found the number, 8.9 billion. Yep. Yeah, it must be some pyramid scheme. Yep. And this is the gratitude we get from some people. $8.9 billion. Yep. I told you this is expensive. And in this case, the per cost is probably even higher. Why? Because we have to send dozens of officers to South Africa, TDY. And I've already covered that. We did. What's the per diem Johannesburg? Let's use Cape Town. That's more expensive. Use expensive. Cape Town. All right. Per diem in Cape Town is currently, it's set annually, so it will be based. Why is this taking so long? There we go. I want South Africa. This other site's not giving me to. I'm at the Gilbert site now. South Africa. South Africa. Post. I'll do Joburg. Okay, let's see what goes. What was the point of doing that? It just took me. Okay, it took me to every city in the world. So I put a city and it just took me to all the cities in the world. This is ridiculous. H-I-J, I'm finally getting there. I-J, Johannesburg. Okay, Johannesburg. Oh, and I have to click to get to it. The current per diem rate is $309 per day. That's the maximum amount. So, $216 for lodging, plus $93 for meals and incidentals. Now, if the embassy doesn't have a vehicle available, which is probably the case for all these people running around, they get to rent vehicles. And a renting vehicle is going to cost another at least $50 per day. So the $309 is really $359. Let's just go with $350 per day. $350 per day, okay? That's just the per diem. $350 per day times 20 or 30 agents times 30 agents equals $10,500 a day just for them to stay in South Africa. All right? $10,500 per day. And that's for 90 days. Times 90 days means we spend $945,000 if it's just 30 officers who come over and do this. And it's been more than that. That's just their cost of being there. They get other expenses that are added to that. Yep. Again, this leaves tears in my eyes. People don't understand how lucky they are to be taken to the USA and be safe. No, they don't. And people don't give a shit about how much it costs me. You know, it's funny because I got little assholes on social media because I keep making the point that I'm paying for this. We as taxpayers pay for this. Because Americans have a stake in this. So we should have a say in this. And I mentioned, listen to him crying about paying for it. Well, you're not paying for it. We're paying for it. So yes, if that's crying, put sec. It's a huge amount of money per person. God bless America. Yep. And all the U.S. is doing the minorities a favor. At least we can be extremely grateful for the help we get. In my wildest dreams, I never thought I'd be getting ready in my whole life to move to another country. And here's the thing. I was attacked over talking about the taxes, not because I was complaining about paying taxes, because I made the point as a taxpayer, I expect Church World Service to deliver on the services that I'm paying for, which they weren't doing in Rochester. They're doing it in Tampa. They're doing it in Dallas, but not in Rochester. And I got attacked for saying that as a taxpayer, I expect to get something for my money. Hey, Grok, what's going on? Clouds are gathering. Yeah, $89,000 per head. Now, I don't know what it costs for the refugees to come over, but that's a 2024 figure. For 100,000 refugees that came to this country, it was 80 now. Now, some of that will be higher. If there's fewer refugees, there's still fixed costs. They still have to run programs. Bear in mind, that doesn't even account, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't even account for the salaries of the people who are devoted exclusively at USCIS and the State Department to be refugee adjudicators and case officers and investigators. It doesn't even include their salaries. That $89,000 per head. You throw that on there, that figure shoots up even further. Probably as much as $100,000 per refugee to come here. See, that's not even the electricity to run the buildings they operate in. Not a consideration. The retirement packages they get, the medical insurance they get, the allowances for differential for working in DC, which is 17% pay bump. That isn't included in there. Add it up. It's a shitload of money. That's right, Charles. I have a right to question where my tax money is being spent. And so does Shawnee. Shawnee and I both have the right to question where tax money has gone. So about 100,000 refugees, if you add, it's probably even more than that. That's just a rough estimate. Folks, you have to understand, the buildings have to be heated. They have to be maintained. Toilets break, sinks, fixtures break, the heating system breaks down, the air conditioning breaks down, pencils, paper, internet, computers have to be bought. Throw all that on top of that. That's all part of the refugee program. It's not specifically laid out for that, but there's an office for USCIS, and there's a director, and there's a staff, and there's hundreds of people that work for him, and then there's the investigators. Throw it all in there. Max says, once you're on this side and you see what happens when you leave up until you arrive at first contact, it's a massive operation. Yep. Anita says, I don't trust any statistics. I don't know what statistics you're talking about. I'm giving you actual dollar figures. It's not a statistic. Not a statistic. It's a budget line. It's a matter of public record. No statistic. Asthma. Sorry to hear about that, Leslie. Well, it's no need to work your bones off, but it's just when you hear this nonsense from people, it really pisses me off. Look, I'm not crying about this, but like I said, I've added up the amount of hours I put in 2025 alone. Here we are already at the end of February this year, 2 more months of free time I've given to people of my life to explain to them what's going on and have been accurate and prescient in predicting and reporting things that are happening and explaining things to people over and over again, how things work, what this is, what it isn't, the meet and greets I've done, the travel expenses of going to South Africa, traveling around the country to do this, some of which was paid by others, but thought of it paid out of my own pocket. All of my time devoted to this, the emails I answer, the WhatsApp questions I deal with, all the hands I hold, all the ringing I help people with, all of that. Almost $1 million in consulting fees I didn't charge people last year. Almost $1 million. Just me. Professor G has devoted a lot of time to this. A lot of time to this. And he doesn't make money on his channel. I mean, I make a little bit, but I know he doesn't make any money. His channel's too small. Well, yeah, that goes into it, Ian. That's part of the cost. Yep. I know, Loretta. Thanks. Anyway, so yeah, so that's now my estimate for what we're paying for the 900,000. Maybe it's about 50,000 over for the people who come over for 90 days because I added a car in for all of them. Maybe all of them don't get a car. Maybe the embassy drops them off. So but still, it's $900,000. So yeah, it's not cheap, man. Stuff ain't cheap. It ain't cheap. Anyway, yep. So we had 3,337 views for the Nels Haystick interview with his family. A lovely family, by the way. And the average view duration. God, this damn tag on this shirt is driving me nuts again. These stupid, retarded things. I'm going to have to rip this thing out. I know somebody said don't rip it out, but this keeps rubbing my shoulders, driving me nuts. And 548 peak concurrence. Not the best number. And we did have 418 likes while it was on, so appreciate that. I don't know if I saved this screen capture. This is from earlier. What I do is I keep watching, make sure they don't have turds writing stuff after the fact that winds up in the chat. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah, and we also do medical on this side. That's right. Yeah, that I think is included in it, though. I think that's part of the cost of the $8.9 billion. I don't know for 100%, but I think it is. The Vibes family. Well, hey, Vibes, didn't I write you an email? I'm trying to remember now. Family, friends don't care anymore. I agree with you. You do so much for everyone, but don't get any recognition. Oh, yeah, I get used all the time. By the media, by some refugees. Yeah, the one that still kills me is the refugee who was in the first 100 and then couldn't get over here because didn't have passports, but got interviewed and told they were coming, but then they didn't have the passports back when the program was still kind of ad hoc and they were doing the proof of concept. And these people wrote to me and said, oh, help us, we're stuck, help us. And so I said, what's going on? We don't have a place to stay. We were supposed to go. You never were supposed to go. You didn't have a passport. What are you talking about? So they misled me, for starters. So I reached out and I burned a bridge. Early days. And that bridge could have been open to many more people who actually needed help. And then they got over here within a couple weeks because of my intervention. 100% true story. I found out that they were in the States because people started asking about, hey, these family, they came after the first group came in May. They came a few weeks later. Hey, these people in Michigan, look at this, man. These are refugees. I'm like, I don't know, no refugees in Michigan that I know about. So I wrote to the lady and I said, hey, did you get out of South Africa? Oh, yeah, a few weeks ago. And I confirmed that she's writing videos, putting videos on Facebook, telling people all about her experience. It was Facebook or YouTube, I can't remember. All about her experience in America. Never even had the courtesy to tell me that she got out. Not even consideration. Used me. Very selfish. What does it matter, Jolie? Who said we must get more medicals in the USA and why? What does it matter? Do you not want to do them? Stay in South Africa. You have to get them because we say so. That's why. And the U.S. government says so. That's done and dusted. Why? You got a problem with that? Stay in South Africa. James says, I lost all my friends, but it showed me who's in my corner for me, my happiness instead of their own objective. Yeah, well, they're not really friends if they've abandoned you over this. They're not really friends. Mr. Vibes. Okay. I didn't realize that was your username. Yes. Yep, she did a Pikachu picture. That's lovely. I have it right down here. It's in that stack right there. Yep. Yeah, Pikachu. Pikachu. So... You also help get our family working on a plan to get out for that. You're very welcome, just another girl. No, but I mean, it's very selfish. I mean, that you don't even have to give me an interview. No one's obliged to give me an interview. I mean, it takes a lot of my time to do these interviews, but that's not even the issue. How about a courtesy to let me know that you're here after I went to great lengths and troubles and burned a bridge? I said, I can't promise you anything, but then my intervention, I know for a fact, got those people out. Didn't even have the courtesy to tell me they're in America. To this day, hasn't even written back to me. Wow. Wow. Time is a commodity can never be recovered from us South Africans. We sincerely appreciate all the time and effort you commit. You're welcome. Mad Max gave his first $1 super chat. I missed it, Mad Max. How did I miss that? I don't see it, Max. Oh, there it is, $5. My first U.S. super chat. You can check later on WhatsApp, another entitled person. Yeah, I saw that already. You're the other entitled person. Yep. Yeah, Mr. Vibes. I cherish that picture. Unfortunately, it's a little ripped because when she ripped it out of the book, she tore it, but I've never taped it. Anybody trusting action and say should wake up, says Anita. Good night, Arno. One true friend I've told this secretly. She was so happy for me to realize the right people will still be on your side knowing it's happening. Others just drag you down. I'm in bed listening to this. UA is a privilege, but must be a gift from God. Okay. Colonel, I'm a simple person. However, everyone that helps me can look forward to a great life. Well, thank you, Andres. My word is my bond as well. Jody's buying me beer. Well, thank you, Jody. Sent you an email. Could you please... Tyler, I already did. Why are you putting the message up again? I already read it and I already addressed you. Did you disappear? Tyler, you have a boy's name. It confused me. I thought maybe it was a gay couple because of the way I read it. I've already addressed your question. Did you not pay attention? Did you walk away and go get some dinner or something? Oh, she made new ones. Cool. Yeah, exactly right. She could at least send me a note and said, hey, I made it over. Thank you for your help. That's it. Own passport's got something to confess. I should have left South Africa when I did have, but I did not have a passport, so I did not go. Okay, Grok. U.S. has 38 trillion national debt, so every tax dollar spent elsewhere counts even more. People don't understand what it costs American taxpayers to provide aid. Yep. Oh, you disappeared, Tyler. Okay, well, I went and read your email, but I didn't read it to people. And yes, you're a woman. Yeah, I see that from your avatar. And I also saw it from the email. But I got confused. I thought maybe it was a gay marriage because it's a boy's name. I'm sorry, Tyler. I suppose girls have that name too, but it threw me off. No, I read your message earlier. You must have left. Yeah. What you said to me, Tyler, was please don't think all South Africans are like that. I don't. Honestly, do you think I would continue doing this if I thought everybody was like that? No, I'm just going to call out the Ferrayas and the liars and the Lugners and Betruners and the entitled people, you know? I mean, like I said, the one video I did, I said every time that someone says something stupid on social media, you give ammunition to the betrayers, to the liars, to the traitors who want to see people fail. They want to see South Africans fail, and especially white South Africans. Every time you do that. So that's what I said, Tyler. Thank you for your email. Oh, Rudolph, yeah. When the balloon goes up, they'll all be screaming for Trump, and they'll all be SOL. Jody says, thank you for your patience. Strong and proud people. Well, yeah, most of you are, but not everybody is. Damn it, Pikachu. What are you doing, man? She's always messing around. Look at this. He's up on my shoulder now. Flights paused. Yes. Flights are paused from 23 February today until 9 March, 15 days. What are you saying? No, they're decent people, man. Just one bad apple. Yeah, come on. Come on, Pikachu. Don't be so judgmental. Pikachu's being judgmental. Yeah. He's being, I speak Pokemon. Did you know that? I learned Pokemon. It's my 7th language now. Pokemon. Okay, buddy, you sit down. Don't zap me with that tail. Yeah, so I speak Pokemon now. Oh, Lügner und Betrügner. A Lügner is a liar in German. It is a liar and a cheat. Betrügner is a German masculine noun meaning scammer, fraudster, con artist, cheater, and imposter. Verräter is a traitor, a Lügner is a liar, and a Betrügner is a scam artist. I mix Afrikaans and Germans. Hey, what can I say? Yep, does that help? Yeah, he might shock me with that tail. I know, Power Technical. They gave the reason is operational. I made a video, which apparently you haven't watched. It's amazing how few views my videos are getting because YouTube is hiding them. I only have 24. That's actually a pretty good video lately. 24,000. There's the video. That explains my analysis. Now, I've been accused by someone saying this is just rank speculation. Well, fine, sweetheart. If you think it's rank speculation, then go watch something else. At least I give you a plausible reason why it happened. Don't know that's the reason because the government's not sharing. But that's my analysis. And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Pika choker. Yeah, no, he wasn't choking me. I think you need a secretary and administration. Bormaisi. Yeah, okay. Hey, Heinrich Kaneda. Okay. Who can help us as our flight tickets were canceled a few days ago before we had to fly out in December? And CS is not simply... Well, they aren't going to respond to your email. Obviously, you're not watching my program, Quentin. I thought I saw you here before. I've talked about... No, I don't know any Japanese, Charles. I don't know Japanese. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Yeah. I know what that means, but but I don't know Japanese. Konnichiwa. It's a lovely language. But I'd have to hang out in Japan for a while to learn it. Just not something I can learn here in Pennsylvania. Not without a lot of effort. So, Quentin, what do you mean help you? What help do you want? What are you asking for? If you want help communicating with CWS, good luck. You're not going to get it. They're not going to talk to you. They're not going to talk to me. And if I'm right in my assessment of what's going on, they won't be talking to anybody here very soon. They're going to be replaced or they're going to be fired up, get a lightning bolt up their rectum. My grandmother's German, fortunately, wasn't fortunate enough to learn language. Sorry to hear that, Tyler. Okay. Not that she was German, that she didn't learn it. Please ignore if you've answered this. I will start or watch one. But did you hear anything more about the pause? No, Iceman, I'll answer it. But you can still go back and watch from the beginning. No, there's no news in the pause. In fact, let me look and see if I've got anything. No news. Also, I've asked about the woman who was shot in the head. An update. So thank you for being considerate, but no, I don't have an update on that. Tarkin Carter, Bruce. Well, I'll be talking to Bruce this weekend, folks. I'm headed off for another refugee trip this weekend. Long drive, over 3 hours. Not as bad as Rochester, though. Heading out to Pittsburgh. And that's what I'm going to tell myself the whole way I'm driving out there. I'll do a few shorts before I get into the mountains or a couple live streams while I've got good connectivity in the Jeez. I can't think of the valley right now. Anyway, the valley, driving out there. But once I get in the mountains, about a third of the way into the trip, it'll be dicey to make calls. So I'll do a few lives from the turnpike in my car on the way. But I'm headed out to see Bruce, the service dog, and the Oosthuizen family. So I'm looking forward to that. So look for that to happen here soon, folks, okay? Can you bring Hadida? No, we will not take a Hadidas. That's like Trevor Noah. It's an unwanted import. There's nothing I can do because it's in the system. Someone's just saying it because they can. Well, people miss a lot of the videos because they're not promoted. And a lot of people aren't habitual enough to go check. Some of my viewers are dedicated. They will look every day at the time that they know I'm going to be broadcasting. And if I'm not there, they know it. If I'm late or if I'm early, they know it. And also they go and find every one of my videos. There's a handful of people who do that, and I'm eternally grateful for that viewership. It means I always get some views. But, I mean, I've gone down as low as just 20-some thousand views in a day. This is down from 250,000 on average per day. It's pretty crazy. Watch your channel like a hawk and don't see a video. Was that the one from yesterday? Varoshka, yeah, that was, no, that's from 3 days ago. 3 days ago. Urgent news, South African Air flights canceled. It was done when it came out. I published it. It says 24,000 views from 3 days ago. Yep, looks like a lot of people haven't seen it. Yep. It's 3 days ago. Yeah, no, after dropping down to unbelievably low numbers, 28,000, 27,000, 30,000, I shot back up to 60,000 on Friday, but then back down to 31 on Saturday. Yesterday I got 36,000. Today we got 4,000. I mean, unless I have a 10 or 15,000 views in an hour, that means I don't have a hot video. Yep, so anyway, such is life. What are you going to do? Just keep plugging away. No need to read now. Colonel, just send you a quick email. Okay. What was that? You're only including the German terms because Afrikaans words too hard to pronounce. No, it's because I don't know what a Lugna and Betrugna is in Afrikaans. I don't know. Teach me Afrikaans. Yes, I know. Domo arigato means thank you. Mr. Roboto means Mr. Roboto. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Yeah. Sticks. I love sticks when I was younger. No, I don't know the word for Lugna, a liar, and Betrugna, a scam artist, in Afrikaans. So, tell me the words. I like the way it rolls off the tongue. Verreyes, Lugnas und Betrugnas. Just sounds really good. Damn it, I like it. So look at that. Betraya. It's like Luna and Betraya. It's just like Lugna and Betrugna. How did you guys not get that? Rift's hard, 140 Rand. Thank you for that. No, Henda will always shout at you. Yeah, Bruce is an Instagram celebrity. 10 million views per week. I would kill for that. Tyler says, I hope when it's our turn of refugees, we get to meet you. Well, yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll see you in South Africa. Must send the pic. What pic, Mr. Vibes? Sally says, even the My Case application is under maintenance today. I believe you're correct. Yes, I believe I'm correct too. Now, there'll be people say, well, that's because you have inside information. You are in coordination with the government. No, I reach out to the government, send them information all the time. Rarely do I hear anything back from them. Rarely do I hear anything back. They look at me as a member of the media, and they're only going to answer things that they feel obliged to do, So anyway, no, that analysis came from me. And then ironically, after I made the video, I went in my email. I found an email from someone who has a source and gave me the source. And that source pretty much said that my analysis, they didn't see my email. This was actually sent to me before I did the video, but I didn't read it until after the video. I got hundreds of messages I haven't read. So I did the video and then went through my email while it was loading up. And I'm like, oh, what's this? Oh, look at that. Isn't that irony? I just made a video predicting that. Yep. Wendy, you're welcome. How many years do you have to work in the U.S. to qualify for a pension? Well, if you work for corporations, oftentimes you qualify for a pension within 5 years. If you work for Amazon, you work for Starbucks, you qualify for a pension on day one. The first day you start working. Go work at Starbucks as a 60-year-old barista. You got a 401k plan. Now, it's not lucrative. It takes years to build up, but you've got it from day one. Yep, you have to work 40 quarters to be eligible for Social Security. That's going to be tough as a 60-year-old. You get 40 quarters, so you have to get Social Security supplemental, which is a lot less generous. Scan the channel more than once daily, okay? Iceman's always late for the streams. Yeah, there's no forced retirement. You can work as long as you want. Thank you for the new refugee information. You're welcome, James. Andreas Miller, thanks, Colonel, for everything you do for the same people. Ignore the idiots. Thank you for 35 Rand. Whoops. Never fall in my case. I don't either. Whoa, I'm behind. I always watch and like. And when I can't watch, I let it play on my PC. That's kind of you, Janine. I appreciate that. Up and about again. Okay, Steve, I'm glad to see that. Glad you're on the mend. I remember last year people asking to bring with all sorts of weird stuff. Yep. I have to get channel at planned times, otherwise I'll miss the videos. Okay. Bedreya und Leuna. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Maklik. No. What are you talking about, Riemann? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Excuse me. Oh, gosh. Did I get enough sleep last night? Who knows? You're going to get me like Professor G trying to speak Afrikaans all the time. But I mean, see, I could see those words. I wouldn't be able to pronounce them, but I know that what they mean just by looking at them because of German. It's the same with English. A lot of words are close to English. Rudolph is deleting his own messages. You're welcome, Andy. You're almost a Safa mixing your languages. I do that a lot. I sometimes can't think of a word in English, but I know it in German. Some people's flights were canceled Friday, rebooked. I have no confirmation of that. No one has told me that. Not a single person has told me that. HMVZA, what's your source? Leonard, okay. All right. That's going to do it, folks. We've been at this for almost 2 hours. I want to thank everybody for being here. Be sure to hit the like button. Got a little bit of super chat read. We've got 475 likes. That I'm happy about. Appreciate that. All right. And the audience has dropped down a bit. We were at a peak of 515. So the Afrikaans words you're looking for are... Oh, I didn't write it phonetically. I just copied what someone else wrote. But I will use what you say, Heinrich. Heinrich Havanga. How you doing, man? Copy. Did you just write it phonetically when you told me, or did you look it up? Okay. All right, that's going to be it. Thanks, guys. I need to get a lot done. I got to clean my car off, okay? All right. You guys, cheers. So the Vegas trip is on. The Pittsburgh trip is on. I'm working on a few other trips, including Florida. Now New England, it looks like. All right. I want to get to Colorado and Salt Lake, but that's going to have to figure that one out. So maybe I'll fly to one and then fly to the other and fly back. So what is this? Okay, wait a second. What is Amanda DeBeer saying? She's been coming here for a long time. What is she saying? Do we need to apply for our own visa at Home Affairs to come? No. Home Affairs is a visa for South Africa. Stay away from Home Affairs. You don't get a visa from them. Your refugee status is your visa to come to America. You don't go to Home Affairs. Don't even talk to Home Affairs. You don't need Home Affairs unless you need some sort of document or a passport from them. Nothing to do with Home Affairs, Amanda. Nothing to do with Home Affairs. Is this another Amanda to be here? Because we got one who's here frequently. That's no. You don't go to Home. No. Home Affairs doesn't issue visas to come to America. Only an American consulate can issue a visa to come to America. Okay? Yep. And only, anyway, so there you go. All right, that's going to do it. Thanks, guys. Good night, Freetha. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye. I'm hungry. Hunger Jack. Gobble him up down the plate comes back for a Hunger Jack. I'm hungry. Baby, the new white meat. Get in my belly. Get in my belly. Fat bastard.